All right. Can you hear me?
Absolutely. Sound good. Can you hear me?
Yep. Crisp and clear.
Perfect.
All right. So, hello everyone. Just coming back to discuss this whole case with about Miss Schabusiness. So, just introducing everyone to critically drinking. Feel free
Hello,
to
hello.
introduce yourself.
Hey, I am Rashawn. My channel is Critically Drinking. That's pretty much all you need to know. That's it.
Okay. So, what we're talking about tonight, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into the case surrounding Taylor Schabusiness. Um, so, first, quick question: did you watch her confession?
I watched some of it. Some of that. That is so messy. I was like, I'm gonna tell you, the sucking and cutting part. I'm like how? Why? How did you get there in your life? How did you get there in your life where you're severing somebody's head and performing that at the same time? I I don't get it.
And she also turned the head, like propped the head up to um, watch.
See, tired of these people.
So,
How? How? And how did you get onto this? Is the first question. How did you get onto this crazy train?
how did I get onto this case?
Yeah.
It dropped. It. I mean, it dropped into my algorithm. I like
Uh,
following cases. But I think that this one was. I ignored it a couple of times because, like, I saw it said, boyfriend or woman beheads man. I'm like, all right, it's not the first time that's happened.
yeah.
But I said, okay, this keeps dropping into my algorithm, so let me just take a little peek.
Yeah, this was crazy. Yeah, I was like, I like to. I'm one of those people that likes to believe. I like to believe the best in people. I like to believe that people aren't out here like this, but I mean, the evidence is out there. It's like she's crazy, and there's a lot more crazy people. It doesn't even make any sense. Like this whole case, like there's no reason to any of it. I'm like, why, Ty? Why did you do this to me? Why?
Well, I think it's really interesting. Um, I kind of like to take things apart, see what makes it work.
That's what
Um,
happened to her. That was her problem.
Come on now, like, like that. I mean, she went as far as saying, "Good luck finding the rest of the organs." Like, good luck. Like I said, Easter egg. Like, why? I don't understand. They were friends. They
Yeah.
didn't have an argument.
Yeah. They were about to have sex, or they were having sex, right? And
Yeah,
then next
they
thing
were
you know,
walking each other like a dog. Pulling a little chain, and it wasn't the first time
man,
they had done this. So, well, first of all, I'm glad I have a guy here to have this discussion. I don't know if you're into that or not, but if you want to like partake in choking,
hmm
it should be done with someone that you trust, right?
absolutely.
So would he have been like somewhat um like not trust her? I mean, they've done it before.
I promise you, I never would have second guessed that before in my life. No, I would never, ever again use
Because I mean, as
restraints.
friends, you have that level of trust, you know?
Now that bro gone. That dude is gone. I mean, man, no, that's crazy. I'm at a loss for words. It's that crazy.
I mean, just
Was it
imagine. So you guys have agreed to partake in this, not the first time,
not the first
and
time?
so you walk her around with the chain, dog chain.
Mm-hmm.
Fine. Now it's your turn. But who's the worry? Like, why would you worry? Like, you don't have anything to worry about now.
Man,
So she's pulling, and you're like, okay. pineapples, like whatever your danger phrase is for her to stop.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, first of all, I'm looking at her and I'm like, how was she able to like overtake him like that?
She might have had his hands bound in some kind of way too.
I mean, if she's straddling him, he's in front of her, she's behind him, yanking. He could have like rolled over on her, like something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I'm
I
just trying
don't
to think,
know.
like, how could have been a way for him to like break out of that?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, the way she was allegedly she was pulling so hard that he was like spitting up blood and all that stuff. So pissed himself too. Like she might be stronger than she looks.
Then again, when you're under the influence of the
All the
things they
drugs
were
that they took
taking,
too.
I'm telling you, I've seen
Yeah.
small women like turn into like Incredible Hulk. Like they needed a dog pile,
Oh yeah.
like to stop them. Um, I've seen one break out of restraints.
Yep.
It's scary.
Yeah. Drug
What
strength is
those?
something next level.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know, so it's like they become a. I don't want to say an Avenger, but they become some type of villain. And
Mm-hmm.
now there was a second part of. Well, hold on. Okay, no. Let's go back before I move on to that part because it was two parts to this
Oh.
trial.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so at a point he was gone. She cuddled with him
Oh,
and
for
listened to his
hours.
heartbeat. Hey, bossy. She cuddled with him as if she was comforting, listening to. So wait, he was still okay, and
Yeah.
then
These people are crazy.
okay, so this was she entered a guilty plea for reason of insanity.
Perfectly valid.
You
She's
think
crazy.
so?
She's crazy.
Because even the detectives were like, "You okay? So what did you remove first? First thing she took was his member.
It's so weird. I don't get it.
How do you go from friends to like
Because the way she made it sound like she was discovering his body as she was dismembering. Like she was playing around, having fun, enjoying different parts and cutting things off. It was very weird. I don't
with kitchen?
with kitchen.
Like,
Yeah.
do you know how much work it takes just to okay, Thanksgiving, carving a
Yes.
turkey?
She said she got annoyed. She said she got annoyed by how much work and effort she was putting into it. She's like, I should have been on more drugs. I'm like, what's wrong with
Well,
you?
they were supposed to do some more after their session, but
Didn't make it that far. He didn't make it. Her buddy did not make it, man.
uh, no. So okay,
Wow.
so she coddled him. She realizes he's gone. Is that better? So now she realizes that oh
Mm.
crap, we're in the basement of his mother's house.
Mm-hmm.
I got to get rid of the body. So I think that at a certain point she realized that what she did was wrong.
She did.
If she was cray, she would have just left him there. She wouldn't have went to the chop shop and whatnot with him. She wouldn't have cleaned up.
I think even crazy people think. They just think crazily. Like, I don't think crazy is a thought. I think crazy is a feeling. I think crazy is I can't control my feelings. They make me do things against my thoughts. Like to me, that's
Mhm.
crazy. My emotions override my thoughts. So I do things that are illogical that don't make sense. That's what I think she was doing. Like she just couldn't control because she said that. She was like, sometimes when I love something so much, I kill it. When I love something so much, I kill it. And I'm like, mm-hmm.
Um, was also disturbing that, okay, so the way mom discovered, and even when mom called 911, and that 911 call, she
Poor lady.
she couldn't even call dial 911. Her boyfriend had to dial. He's like,
Yeah.
man, I don't know. And she said her son's dead downstairs in the bucket. And they're like, well, did you go down and look? He's like, yeah. Can you tell us what? Man, look, I don't know what I saw. Like he even tried to like block out what exactly did I just see in that bucket.
Yeah.
And even the 911 operator was like, are you sure it's not like a prank? Like,
No. Who would
so
think that?
what was that?
Who would think? Who would think that their son is in pieces in their basement?
But then to look around in the room, um, I mean, the officer went downstairs and this is what his area like what his bedroom looked like in the
Mm-hmm.
basement. So I mean, would would you think that something that wild went on
Nah,
until he
there's no
pulled
way.
that bath towel, that beach towel off the top of that bucket and he was like, yeah, I need backup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh man.
He was calling the cavalry, everybody get up in here. Like
Yeah.
even his partner, he's like, hey man, look in there. The officer took his flashlight, like it's like they were in shock. It
Yeah.
didn't even.
Trust me. I didn't see as much of the case as you did, and I'm still in shock. It doesn't even make sense to me. I do not want to get. So I was talking to somebody earlier, and they gave me like 3 true crime channels to check out. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to fall into this rabbit hole. Like this case was like my first little introduction, and I'm like, this is nuts. Like dismembered nuts, but this is nuts. Like, like this is crazy. Like wow. Like even when the cops pulled up, she's just chilling. Like she's just chilling at the crime scene.
Why did she look so surprised? Like when she came out of the apartment, like oh, because like she chirped the van. And she's
Yeah.
like, what are you guys doing here? There's a trail of blood from the van.
Yeah. Oh my god.
His thighs are still in the box in the van.
This in the crock pot. Oh my god, the crock pot box. Listen, Ty, this is none of this makes any sense. I don't even understand it. It's not
Well,
going to
this
make
is
any
what
sense
kind
to
of drew me in because I'm like, okay, I need to get to the bottom of this.
me.
The performance that she did for his head to watch. Okay, wait. What? Okay, what was she doing as she began to remove his head?
She said she was giving him head. As she's cutting off his head, she's giving him head while he's dead. Like it was so weird. I don't
Like it can't
why.
make it make nobody can make it make sense.
Like, like what is going? Like I promise you, like there's nothing in the world that prepared me for listening to this stuff. And I kind of
it
went
was,
through it like in reverse order, so it's kind of like in my jumbled up in my head because the last thing I saw was the confession. The confession.
mm-hmm.
Like the first thing I saw was some of the trial pieces, and I'm like, she's crazy because first she's sitting there twitching and laughing, like it was like she's hanging out with her friends, like during the trial.
Yeah, she was smirking. Honestly, I think that was an act. She also threw a chair at the psychologist, like when they went to try and do it.
I missed that.
Like she jumped up, threw a chair at them, like, and
Oh, I
so
missed
like
it.
she took the stand. I'm gonna have to add that to the description. She took the stand, and they're like, "Well, did you expect for her?" She's like, "No, that was the first time it ever happened." She threw the chair at her, then went and sat in the corner, like, like nothing happened.
Oh.
So they asked. So she did end up going back to interview her, and they just said, "Well, how did you feel like going back in there with her?" She was like, "Well, I'm glad the chairs were plastic."
Yeah.
But I mean, that was, I'm kind of fast forwarding a little bit. That was the second part of the trial to try and prove that she was insane.
Okay.
The jury came out in like 30 minutes. Come on now. They stayed
What they
enough
say?
time to get lunch. She's not insane.
They didn't give her the insanity.
No, no, no.
Oh, I
They
didn't make it
had
that far. Oh.
they had agents come from Quantico to interview her. And they also looked at her past interviews and the notes. It was a lot of doctors that took the stand. The defense had, what do they call them? Experts, but the states, come on.
I don't know.
And what I also noticed, I might have mentioned this in the last slide. I was looking at her body because they didn't pan away too much from her, like when the experts took the stand.
Mm-hmm.
Her whole demeanor changed when the experts were not speaking on her behalf. She wasn't smirking. She wasn't laughing. They had her undivided attention.
Hmm.
Now, when the defense had theirs, she's chilling. She's smirking. She's laughing. She's doing, performing. But when it really mattered, and she knew it did, and she knew the weight that it carried, because that's what would change her fate. She was sitting there. She was watching. She was very keen to what was going on.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
I didn't see that much.
Yeah, I noticed all of that. That's what I like doing too. Like I look at the defendant's body language and when certain testimony is going forward, because they pay attention, and she was paying attention. Even the attack she did on her attorney, the one that like.
Now that was funny. That was cute. That felt like a performance. That felt like
out of nowhere.
Yeah, out of nowhere. Yeah, that was funny. But I enjoyed it. I need more stuff like that in court. Like there needs to be more drama in everyday.
Shake it up a little bit.
Absolutely. That was beautiful. Yeah, what's up, Yella, Candid, and Watts?
Salute to everybody in the chat. Hey, 100 Watts. Hey, y'all. Candid on Snap. Thank y'all so much for coming through. So let me just show a little picture of her here. I don't know who cornrowed her hair in this picture, but
what was this the insanity trial?
No, okay. It was one of the court hearings before the trial began.
Okay. During the confession and all the trial, I saw her hair was out.
Yeah. This was like before trial, and let's see what her. Yeah, she was trying to get that plea. That she tried it. She really did.
I don't care. You sitting there with a dead body and trying to hide it in crock pot boxes, and not even removing it, like leaving it sitting in a van in the winter. I'm more inclined to give you the insanity plea. Like you still gonna be locked away somewhere for a long time, but come on, that's not normal. Like that's not mentally well behavior.
I mean, in the winter, you can use your vehicle as a freezer,
Right, but I mean, people could walk by and just see a box of parts. Like if the box tips over, somebody knocks it over, and a thigh just comes flopping out. You know what I'm saying? Does anybody else drive this van? Because it's like a family van.
It was her friend's van. It wasn't even hers, and she up there packing up
body parts. Come on, Ty. Come on. That's insane. If anybody deserves an insanity, I mean, lock her up still, but just lock her up in the insanity ward. Just keep 25 to life.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true. That's true. And I think that, she went too far, way too far to see what was going to, just out of curiosity. And I think she got in too deep, and she was like, oh shit, what am I supposed to do? Like what? But I mean, I don't think it would have turned out as bad for her if she had just left him there and be like, look, we got too kinky. Things went left, and just left it at that. Not let me slob him as I
that's insane.
Take his parts.
That's insane, Ty. That's crazy.
The foot, like a tote bag or a book bag had his like piece of liver, kidney, like what?
Yeah. It's crazy. If anybody deserved the insanity plea, I think she deserved it. But I mean, I don't know. I have not heard, because again, I'm not a true crime nut. I don't follow a lot of the stuff like that. I
Oh,
don't
they
want to
keep
think that
saying
there's
that.
really people out here, like, because that's worse than like a lot of stuff I've seen on television, like movies. Like people don't really.
Oh, this. Let me tell you, this is real. This is real. Yeah, I
Oh
follow
God.
these stories, and there's another one I'm going to cover. That trial was last year. Now, this boy did this to his parents Thanksgiving weekend because his mother was gonna quit her job and stop financially taking care of him.
Wow.
So the bolo went out, or what do you call it? A welfare check went out for his mother
Okay.
because she didn't show up to work. It was in a crock pot on the stove simmering, or it was on the stove simmering. Her
He
head,
was not cooking his mom.
her head.
He was cooking her head. Okay, so that happened on Sons of Anarchy. Somebody's head got Chucky put the head in the crock pot.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Or
yeah.
the chili. The chili.
That special chili.
Man, why? Why? What's wrong with
It was
Tyler?
on a slow simmer. He went back to college, and then he was going to turn around and come back home and clean everything else up because he took his dad out too. But see, mom got the brunt of it though. She's the one where he let that head simmer
Why?
because she was going to cut him off. She was like, no, like, I
So
mean,
so he cut her head off because she was gonna cut him off.
financially, she was.
So then he cut her head off for retaliation. But why let it simmer? Like, was that like a message, like a hit, like I'm gonna let you simmer on this, like
And
I'm gonna
that's
let you
just
simmer on your
like
decision?
I don't
I don't. What's the thought process is what gets me. Like, what's wrong with these people? How
I
do you
don't
get there?
understand. Now I blame it on his aunt because he was like the aunt's favorite, and she's the one that told him, "Oh, your mom about to cut you off financially. We know you're still a college student, but you need to get a job or something." He was like in
Oh
his
man.
20s or so, but he didn't want that. His mom was working only and she was giving that check to him, but she was getting tired. She was getting tired of doing that, and I guess he wasn't having it.
And see, this is what I don't like about the true crime is there's a lot of unanswered questions. Like, do people not notice that these people are different? Like, how do they skate by in society to the point where I'm choking my boyfriend too much? I'm gonna just keep choking. So he's already purple.
See what
I might
happens.
as well. How do you get to that point? My mom's cutting me off. I can't buy video games this month. I think I'm a killer. Like
And dad gonna
they
get it
didn't
too.
no, they didn't exhibit any other erratic behaviors, violent tendencies. I don't believe that.
Um, so I think that child, I think they kind of messed up because it was like during the pandemic and everything. So he's in court. They're showing pictures of her in the crock pot, and he didn't have on a face mask. He had that clear shield, and his
Yeah.
eyes were kind of like big and bulgy. And he's looking up at the big screen, just looking like watching a game. I mean, like they're
Yeah,
showing all this
that's
evidence. Like it was no,
yeah,
I
no
don't know,
emotion, no affect at all.
none.
Like that's weird.
He was totally like detached. I don't
Man,
understand like what would drive you to that point, you know? Um,
whew.
okay, so okay.
She's dismembering her boyfriend. She starts hacking off pieces. She's cuddling with body parts. She's
Listening to his
cleaning
last
up.
heartbeats, bleaching,
That's just
cleaning.
weird. It's weird.
And she said also in her statement, she said, "Man, I meant to take his head with me. I loved his
Where?
head." That's what she said. I loved his head. Should have taken it with me.
Where? She was there when she was there when she got caught. Was she at the place? Wasn't that the when she got caught? Wasn't that the location? Or was she
No,
somewhere else? That apartment building.
no, that she was at the friend's apartment. She drove back to the friend's apartment.
Okay, and she wanted
Yeah,
the head with her at her friend's apartment
right. She meant to pack that up in the car in the van. But I think what
with
made
the
her not want to go
thighs.
back in is when the screen door like slammed shut, and that's what woke up his
Woke
mom.
up. No,
Hmm.
Jesus Christ.
And she went downstairs in the basement and hid in the bucket.
Okay, so let me ask you a
So
question,
he
Tell.
was, huh?
Let me ask you a question. How good? How crazy do you have to be? Like, how much further do you have to get before you would cut a guy up? How close are you to that point?
I would never get to that point.
Okay, okay. Just a question.
No,
No
they don't
reason.
deserve a slice. They don't deserve a bullet. They don't deserve it. I will let them live and suffer.
Okay, all right,
Yeah,
man.
but I mean, that was, come on now. That was way
Nah,
over.
it's a lot. It's a lot.
So what? Okay, so what would now? Well, hold on.
Is
I
there
don't want to
anything a
say
guy could do to get you to that point?
if I had a
Like,
child and he harmed my
okay,
child, it's
understandable,
it's a wrap.
understandable,
And he
completely
doesn't deserve
understandable.
to be simmered either. He's just gone.
Yeah, I'm with that.
Yeah,
I'm with that.
that
Yeah,
that that would be a
don't
wrap.
mess with kids.
Yeah,
Facts. 100%.
yeah. Everything getting sliced and diced.
I'm with you. I'm just curious. I mean, she didn't do it out of anger, so it's just weird. I'm used to the anger. Like the anger I can relate to. If somebody's so mad you just want to cut them into pieces or bash them or something crazy, but the stuff she said she was doing, I don't even really want to believe her.
And she
But
says that she used the toy on him as well.
yeah, I'm like, why? I don't
I mean,
understand why.
I don't want to justify, but I'm just saying, like, maybe she just wanted a strong finish.
But I mean, I mean, hopefully she got what she needed out of that
I mean, she
experience.
she look, he gone. She still need
He's
to get
gone.
off, so she go get the toy and
I mean, but why she? I, I don't know. There's nothing that you can answer or that we can answer that would make what she did make sense. It is my
now for
mind
me,
is really still in shock. Like it's really like this makes no sense.
it's a lot to unpack. So as for okay, so I have the same
That's what
question.
the detective said.
I
That's
was
what the
going to say
detective
unpack.
said. This is a lot to unpack. We're still finding pieces.
Let's chop it up again.
Yeah. That dude. Oh
God,
yeah.
I didn't mean to
The
say that.
friend. Yeah, we used to chop it up. Yeah, we like, we chop it up.
Oh
We
my
kick it.
God, did you see that testimony?
Oh, that was hilarious. That was hilarious.
And she's
But
laughing.
that was actually kind of funny. That was, I mean, you're on trial for dismembering somebody, and the guy's like,
And the
"Yeah,
poor
me and
guy
my
was
friends, yeah,
so
we used to chop it up.
serious.
We used to chop it up."
The attorney's like, when you say chop it up, like
What do you mean?
thinking maybe that was like, okay, we were hanging out, we were chilling, we were in the
Nah,
cut, we something other than chop it up. Like, stop
nah,
saying that.
nope.
Yeah, just chopping. I'm like, oh, God, he keeps
I
saying
would have arrested him on the spot. Like, okay, he's complicit. He just said it. We were chopping it up. Like, he's not walking out of here free. He said that too comfortably. And nah, we're chopping it. Who's like
who
self-awareness
even
that
says
much?
that?
I might say chopping it up, but if I'm going to a trial for somebody who chopped up a body,
Who literally did.
yeah, I'm at the trial. Understand? There's no way I'm gonna say chop it up without catching myself. Not a
Just
chance. Yeah, we're just chopping it up. You want to take it? You want to answer this question? I'll take a stab at it. No, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, that's not what we're doing today, sir.
hey, I mean, I'm not
No,
trying to take a stab in the dark. That's all I'm saying.
right? None of that. None of that.
Can't do that.
That was
So
hilarious.
is there anything that would make you cross that line of doing that?
I think probably, but again, it would have to be a lot. You'd have to really take out. You'd have to take out somebody I love. Like you'd have to. I would say my nephew or my mom. You took one of them out. I'm willing to torture somebody at that point. Now
Oh yeah, it can't
I've
be
got.
quick.
Yeah, it can't be quick. No. You take out somebody who I love and have developed a close relationship with, I'd be willing to. I'm not saying I would. I'm just saying my heart would desire that. I probably would never do it, but my heart would crave that. But yeah, I probably would never do it. Even if given an opportunity. I probably wouldn't.
Even if you knew that you would never get caught.
If I still had somebody I loved, I couldn't take that. If they took everything from me, sure, I'll risk it. But if I still had somebody, a relationship I cared about, or anything I cared about at all in life, nah. Men's prison is probably a little bit different than women's prison. I don't know about that. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to do no 30 years in no men's prison. Now, if they want to put me, if I can say I'm a woman and I can get in women's prison, but I don't want to take that chance.
You said what?
I mean, because I've heard that they're putting men in women's prison because they identify as women.
So the one that knocked up the, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, if I could pull that off.
Hey, man, you pull out your Barbie wig.
Exactly.
Show up. Show up.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think that I don't think they're going to try and appeal the judgment. Then again, her attorney was like 10 toes down for her, and I'm like, I was waiting for her to like go over and bite him.
Even after he got attacked?
No, that attorney left. So the guy that the defense that represented her in the trial is a different person. It's a different guy.
Gotcha.
Because that one, once she did that, he was like, he swatted her down to the ground and was like, nah, they don't pay me enough. Yeah. Put up with this nonsense. She chained up, still trying to attack. Like,
I still can't believe that.
The thing is that from what I'm thinking, she wasn't even that aggressive during the session.
Doesn't sound like
Besides, like digging her heel down and yanking that dog. Why a dog? Like, I don't understand. Like, why a dog chain? Did you see that chain? Like, that chain was huge. I didn't see that. I have a necklace that's a chain. I was like, I'm not gonna wear it. It has like, I was like, no, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
But it's just, she didn't have a thought out plan.
No.
Not to say that she should have, but it's kind of like
do that. I like you have a thought out plan. If you're gonna try something like that, like think about it a little bit.
That's why I think she could have gotten away with like manslaughter if she had left him intact.
Yeah.
You take his left foot and stick it in his chest. Like, what? When I first heard that, I was like, why did she even have to take his foot? Like, that's not the biggest part of his body.
No.
And then jam it like
she was having fun.
It kind of got to that point.
Yeah. She would just like to take stuff apart and see how stuff. What can I do with what? She was just having. She was a playground for her.
I know I said that at the beginning, but not to that extent at all.
Yeah.
Just to display.
Yeah. She took that literally.
And this is, I don't know if I showed his picture. This is a friend.
Goodbye, buddy.
From a night of fun.
It's not worth it. That's what I wanted to ask you, Ty. Now, see, I'm not going to make too many jokes because, see, that guy's dead. But that face right there made me want to make a joke. I got to ask you a question. You got a dismembered body. You're finding body parts all over the place. His head and genitals are in a bucket. They run a tox screen on this guy. He's got everything in his system. Why do they do a nose swab for COVID? He's gone and dismembered. Why did they do a nose swab for COVID? That made the whole thing sketchy for me. I almost wanted to say this is some kind of conspiracy. Why are you testing a dismembered corpse for COVID?
And I mean, this happened February of 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Um, from what I can remember, I mean, never mind. I'm not gonna go there. I don't, I don't understand why that was even a factor. So they they bid. Now I okay, hold on. You know that funding for this case.
Don't relate this back to Buddy. That'd be so dirty.
That's
Just relate.
that's the lucky pot of gold. That's
Nah.
all I'm gonna say.
Got another COVID death. He had COVID. He had
Chopper
COVID.
style. Chopper style. Like
Oh shoot.
they bet not like try to blame that on.
Add that
So
to the COVID
okay,
tally.
can we call the doctor, the one who resigned? Oh, all of well, half the doctors resigned, but I need for them to explain how could that have been factored in. So if somebody has that, somebody, a friend of mine, gonna be like, you know what? Let me help you out. Let me help you out.
Yeah.
Like what? I don't. It doesn't make any sense. That shouldn't even.
That part. When I heard that, I'm like, it caught my ear so hard. I'm like, he had this in the system. He had this in the system, and we swabbed his nose and he came back COVID positive. I was like, why would you swab a dismembered head for COVID?
You know, let's just take it. Swab his mouth. Swab.
So did they put a
Yeah, but
mask on it to transport it?
can you repeat that?
I said, did they put a mask on the head to transport it? I mean, because if you're swabbing it to find out if he's COVID positive, I'm assuming you're concerned about him having COVID.
Well, at that point, he wasn't breathing.
So why are you swabbing his nose? He's not breathing. Why do you need to know if he has COVID?
My
He's
thing
not.
is, so what if he did?
That's what I'm saying. So why even swab? He's gone. He can't respire anymore. It's so if
Who
we're
are they going?
swabbing his nose, that part, that's the one part on the whole case that actually stuck out to me more than anything. Worse than her saying I was sucking and cutting at the same time. When they said I swabbed for COVID, and I'm like, you swabbed a head in a bucket for COVID. And you said that on the stand when you're talking about the other things that were found in his system. I'm like, something's up here. At that point, I was like, she's not guilty. There's a conspiracy here.
Mm,
It's a conspiracy. I don't
I
believe
mean,
this.
she was the only person in the basement with him.
I know she did it. But
Now, the only other person that would have done it was the Chop It Up friend. That was like, yeah, you know, I mean,
he did like to chop it up.
because I'm thinking when I don't even want to imagine that. The thing is detached from his body, and you're slobbing, and that's a lot of multitasking.
Yeah.
How many
That
other
part,
sets of hands did she need for that?
I honestly don't believe her. I think she was trying to be, I don't even know
Or
what she was
shock
trying to do.
value or whatever.
Yeah. Cause none of the stuff she actually was confessing to, it didn't make sense. Like you said, the cuddling and all that stuff, that I don't believe her. For whatever reason.
Because I'm like, how is that possible when you drained his fluids in that tote that was at the head of the bed? Hold on,
Yeah,
let me see
so
what.
a lot of the details didn't make any sense.
Um, yeah, like over on the far right in that corner, that was like the head of the bed.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tote under there. She covered it with a blanket, but you can see like the little piece of blue or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's where most of the fluids were drained. And on that table, like that bar table, whatever you want to call
Yeah.
it, um, I think the dog chain was up there too. But I mean, I have to say, besides the pieces of tissue that the officer found, like when he first went down there, she did pretty good at cleaning up.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
mean,
she had
that
some
had to
time
take
though.
some time. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, she did. And it
She
was
had
still
some
dark
time.
out when she left.
Yeah.
So
Man,
she
that
was
stuff is
able to
crazy.
get that a lot of there. But, Sorry, I'm looking at my notes.
Nah, do you think?
Oh, so she was. Now I do like watching crime trials and things like that. Another one I'll probably cover, but that's going to take some time, is Durst.
Never heard of that
Um,
one.
yeah, he was a big wig. Um, had money. He was a millionaire,
Hmm.
and his first wife came up missing. That was back in the 80s.
Ooh.
His best friend. Okay, so he moved to another state from New York and
Uh-oh.
began to dress like a woman
Okay.
as a form of disguise.
Okay.
That
So he
trial
was a
took,
suspect?
yeah, because he reported her missing. He said he dropped
Okay.
her off at the train station and she never returned.
Okay.
Um, the one of his friends, or the guy that was renting in the one of the units from him or whatever, he got mad at him and he started being dismembered and tossed. They found trash bags of his body parts. Right? Do
Wow.
you know he was acquitted?
What? So wife is missing. A neighbor or somebody he was associated
15
with
years later,
gets dismembered.
the man pissed him off.
He gets acquitted.
He said
That's
it
interesting.
was self-defense because the man had his gun and was in his apartment waiting for him.
But he got dismembered? Why would you dismember somebody?
He said that he popped him in the head and they had a struggle, and a little tussle, and
His body fell apart?
he put down a tarp, and he explained in the confession, like, they're like, well, how did he said, like, you would a chicken, you cut him at the joints.
So you self defend and you put down the tarp
And then you
and you dismember this person because it was self defense. That makes perfect sense. And he got off.
he got off, millionaire.
No. Oh my God.
And then his best friend in Cali,
No.
she told him, see, she was in the same circles as he was, being around people, being around like big wigs and stuff in LA.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, this is after he went back to, he stopped cross dressing, like trying to, do that stuff. Now, this woman was his friend, his good friend for years, and she knew things, and she told him that she had been questioned by detectives.
Oof.
So she was the third one.
Disappeared.
Yeah.
Or she
Well,
dismembered.
no, she was found in her apartment,
Dead.
back of the head.
Oh,
So
God.
this man had cancer, right? He's like freaking like this old dusty fart at this point. That trial was last year for 3 months. I followed that. That was 3 months long. I'm of course it's gonna have to get it's gonna have to get cut up. That's all I can say. But yeah, he was found guilty finally. He took the stand, and the last answer that he gave, the last question he was asked, if you knew where your wife was, would you tell us? His answer was a
No.
solid no.
Of course not. No.
So after he was found guilty, it wasn't a good week later because he was about to go back to New York.
Wow.
And they opened the case up about his missing wife. And do you know he kicked the bucket? I said,
What?
I called it. I said,
Whoa.
I know he is going to kick the bucket. Soon as he, and
Wow.
sure enough, soon as I saw the headline, that was petty. He just,
and see, that's what's so messed up about it. It's like, all your life, everybody tells you to do the right thing. Doing good is his own reward. But it feels like all the breaks go to these crazy people. Like right. To catch all the little lucky breaks. Like, how? How do you have like 2 to 3 deaths in your vicinity and you're still free? Like, nah, get out of here.
Money talks.
Man.
And he actually, his attorneys were really good. Like, it's a couple of times during the trial. First of all, it's the first like trial I had seen that took about 90 days. And also, the judge kind of knew it was a high profile case. So he was very what's the word, animated, and they were laughing. I never saw a trial to the point to where like the jury's laughing, like they're doing reenactments of what happened with his best friend, like the two attorneys. Oh well, did he roll over like that? Like they're laughing. It's like it was like a comedy. It was like
That's weird.
a spoof. It was very weird.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Um,
have to look. You see, you're gonna have me start looking into this stuff because I'm like, I'm oblivious to this whole world of true crime. Man,
you might like it.
I mean, there's
And this is real.
OJ.
Like this is real. Like it's real things that
Yeah,
happened, and um, some other
OJ is the
cases
only
that
trial.
yeah, like some other cases that haven't really been put out there.
There's,
I'll also be talking about is a black girl who met a man online,
mm-hmm.
and he was, not to say it was wrong, but
Yeah, he took a
and it
chance.
was
She took a
their
chance.
it was their first date at her apartment, and
Mm-hmm.
he said he woke up and found her gone,
Oh, of course he did.
and he got off. So, I know on TikTok they'd been trying to make that case like get some traction, but yeah, that's a serious case. This young lady, college graduate, and they were supposed to just be hanging out, and
Now, what are people supposed to do? Because like, okay, she met a stranger. Okay, that's risky behavior. You're going home with somebody you really don't know that well. But should business? I almost said Shabuti or Shabuya, one of them. Shabusiness,
she can be
Shabusiness
Shabuti.
schoolboy. They were together. Like they
They
were.
knew each other since high school.
Yeah. So what are people supposed to do? Like when are you and the people you are acquainted with safe to be alone?
And
Like,
how would you be able to identify that you're actually in danger if this is someone that you have a level of trust with? Like
mm-hmm.
my best friend, like he and I, we've been friends since elementary school.
Man.
And at one point for a year, we were roommates and everything. I would never think he gonna try to like chop
Yeah.
me up, beat me to his fish. He had these crazy like these African fish that were very aggressive, but I would never think he ain't gonna chop me up and beat me to those fish. you know.
Man.
So it just kind of makes you question like, okay, everybody getting this side like, who should I
Mm-hmm.
get the side eye? They had a
Everybody
history, and he trusted her. Apparently, she couldn't be trusted. But
couldn't be trusted.
you brought up a good point. Like, what would have been the signs? Like, say they had a session before then, and she kind of like almost crossed the line, but then she stopped.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like I just gotta believe, I could be way wrong. She may have never given a warning or a warning sign. May have never. But I have to imagine she said something weird at some point to get from there to, like you said, putting a foot in his chest after he's dead. Like you
Mm-hmm.
had to have said something weird, like I wonder if a foot could fit in somebody's chest cavity. Like you don't think somebody she had to say something strange. I wonder if I could fit your head in a bucket. Like she probably said something weird at some point. She had to.
Mm. Especially
You
with her being a fan of Dahmer.
and the Dahmer selfie.
Mm-hmm. I mean, honestly, listen, I don't care, best friend or not. I if I saw that he had a picture like like on his nightstand or just
Yeah.
taking ussies with Dahmer in there, we like smiling, it's a wrap. No, something ain't
Yeah.
right.
I don't even really like too much when people still be wanting to play R. Kelly. Like that, wanting to play R. Kelly. Like not like that's a good song and they come on. Like they get that little defiant. I'm gonna play R. Kelly in spite of. Now it make me look at people a little funny. Like you better be from Chicago. You
The
better
lyrics,
be from Chicago.
when I listen to the lyrics now, I'm like,
A lot of them be sus.
it's
A lot of them be sus.
I'm like, okay, was that for the little girl in the corner standing in the corner in McDonald's with
Mm-hmm.
braces on? That he would go and pull out of the crowd, like he liked that type
Mm-hmm.
of young girls, so
Yeah. So here's Ty. Here's
that's
Ty.
that's
Well, here Here's where it gets a little difficult. Because see, along those same lines, now I gotta wonder, like taking a selfie with Dahmer, but I'm a true crime enthusiast. You know what I'm saying? All I do is consume murder and mayhem. So now I gotta wonder, is Ty safe? Are you safe? Are we safe? Is the public safe around you? You said you would never get to that point, but like you're consuming this a lot.
It's not.
It's like a Dahmer selfie. It's a Dahmer selfie.
Dirty. Ooh. Now
I was talking before this, and I didn't even mention that I was doing this, but I mentioned this, and true crime came up. She rattled off 4 true crime podcasts, YouTubes, back to back to back. She told me a TV show, and I'm like, you just have this stuff just sitting on your dome, like you know where to go for murder. Like, it's a Dahmer selfie to me. So now I got to look at her funny.
No,
I'm looking at you funny.
Well, I mean, okay. So, what about attorneys? What about defense attorneys that defend these monsters? Are they capable? I mean, well, yeah, they are. Look at Murdoch. But, and also an ex-Marine. He wiped out all the witnesses that was going to testify against him. But I mean, I don't know. Like, it's interesting. I'd rather hear attorneys argue just to learn like how they set the foundation and the grounds for their arguments. Versus just listening to people rattle and ramble about whatever online. It's a more, I just like to piece that together and see exactly how they reach that. Yeah.
It's the elevation of the art form. It's discourse, but it's refined. You like.
Right. Right. And it's structured. It's not like I'm just sit up here and bark about whatever in my argument. That kind of arguing, I can listen to a little bit of it, but not a lot, because it's not really going anywhere. It's not productive.
Right. Yeah. This all has to be informed and persuasive and concise, because you can't go for 30 minutes trying to make one point. So, exactly. Yeah. I like it. I can see that.
Yeah. So no, I'm not tainted from these cases, but it's just very interesting.
It is.
Especially when you see like like the technicalities of how it could possibly be a mistrial. Like, for example, Y.W. Melly. I ain't never heard, or whatever his name is. I never heard of that kid until this happened. And once again, he kept dropping. I'm like, I don't even know this rapper. Where? Where? But then when they started getting to the forensics, retracing like the bullets and everything, the entry, the exit, that's what kind of catches my attention. And then everything else, I'm like, all right, let's take a look at this evidence, see what's going on. But it's interesting.
Yeah, that's a solid answer. It lowers my suspicion, my threat level just a little bit. I went from like an 80 to a 20. I'm down to like 20% threat level.
Listen, I don't have the strength to do all of this for hours on end. I can't do it. Unless I had a deep freezing wood chipper. So let me stop.
I would have thought the same thing about Taylor. I would have thought Taylor ain't dismembering nobody.
Look at that face. You can't, come on now. She ain't gonna do.
I mean, that looks. That's the wrong photo.
Okay, let me hold on. Let's try again. Hold on.
Unfortunately, that face
here we go. Look at this.
Oh, yeah, she's trying to get attention. She ain't out here cutting people up. She's trying to cut up.
She gave a little duck lip,
Yeah, that's all. The other photo, unfortunately, still looked maniacal. It looked like one of the moms that like put her kids in the lake. She had that last photo looked like one of those types.
Like
the disgruntled mom that just decided to end it all. That's what that last photo looked like.
Yeah. I mean, what's the other one?
Showed up to the bake sale without the kids. Yeah, that's the mom that's had enough. That's what that looked. That's like,
listen, they asked me for one more thing,
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Haley.
Haley.
Yeah, so it's like now see that right there. Maybe maybe he didn't walk her around the way that she wanted to be walked around that night. I don't
Man,
understand.
I just can't. I can't see elevating the murder.
I mean, I
Your
want to know who.
friend. Your friend. And then
Now, see
somebody
this
rated
look
her
right
up
here.
though.
It's given. I'll do it again.
It does. She looks like somebody that would cut somebody up and murder them. She needs a teardrop tattoo. Right there.
And like here, this guy is so like chipper and happy. He seems like a bubbly type
Chipper.
person. Oh,
I
oh,
like that. I like it.
let me take that off. I didn't mean it.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yes, Haley. Orange is the new black. That's exactly what she was looking like.
Oh yes, absolutely. I
Now
mean, look
yep.
at that. Look.
The interrogation, like they interrogated her a couple of different times. I saw her in a yellow jumpsuit and a blue jumpsuit. But
Yeah,
the
and now
detectives, well,
no. Go ahead.
not gonna say, but the detectives seem to be asking the same questions both times. I saw when I was watching it, they kind of like cobbled together the footage. So they were asking about the sex acts and she was in the blue. Then they were asking about the sex acts when she was in the yellow. And I was like, these detectives are pervs. Like, there's no reason to ask about this many times. He's dead.
They had to.
I don't know. I can't.
They had to. And
They
okay,
sounded too
so
happy though. It sounded
I
way too
know it
playful.
did. It did
That
kind of
might be
sound
an
like
act. That might be the way they get like rapport. But it was just
because
like,
they saw that she was feeding off of that.
oh God. It was disgusting.
They had to turn on their mirror neurons and be like, "All right, we got to play the game with her."
Oh. Oh.
So that's what they did. So
Oh.
was
So did
he
you cut it off
fully?
and use it as a dildo? I was like, bro, is that a professional question? But
Yeah, some of it
but
was a little bit painful to watch. It was kind
yeah,
of uncomfortable. Like I had to like
it
shuffle in my
was.
seat a little bit. Like
Yeah, it
I
was
don't
weird.
know. Like,
Oh God, it was so weird. I promise you,
and then
Ty,
he's
it
like,
was so
"Well,
weird.
what did you do next?
Yeah, it felt. Oh God, it felt. Oh,
And where did
they
you
were talking
put the
about
toy?
the icks.
Did you wash the toy?
Ah,
Did you use it on him?" I'm like,
it was nasty. It was uncomfortable. But then she
oh,
was answering it like it was just a conversation. It was so weird. I don't understand. My brain
she
can't.
was like in band camp mode. Like, and then, but wait, there's more.
Oh God.
So they had to get on. They had to do that to kind of like get in her head and let her, because then she's like feeding off of them and like their
She
energy.
was. She
Like,
was.
oh, you want to know what else I did? I
Yeah.
slobbed while I was,
Yeah. Cutting and
and then I
sucking.
propped his head up.
It's just weird.
I don't believe she used the toy on him. Though. I don't think she did that.
I don't believe she said. I don't believe she did half the stuff she said. I mean, the
I think,
dismemberment is obvious, but some of the
right.
sex acts post mortem, I don't believe she really did that.
Yeah, she was trying to get a rise out of them, just to see how they were. You got two men in the room. First of all, they can already see that you have some type of, I don't know what the word is. I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing things if both parties are consenting.
Yeah, little kink, and I'm wrong, little kink.
Yeah, but I mean, to take it to that point,
Yeah.
how do you still want to finish off after you done?
Come on, Ty. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Ain't no way in the world.
I
You
mean, I
can't
just
tell
want to sit in
me.
the car and cry. If I accidentally, which it would never happen, I don't have that strength, and I'm not on the stuff that they were on.
Yeah.
If it was a mistake, I would just went and sat in a minivan and cried. We're like, all right, let me call the people to, tell them it was a mistake, it was an accident, whatever. Would have stayed with them, and not. Oh, how can I cover this up? And let me pack up his thighs with me. That was a lot of work. That's too much
It's a lot
manual
of work.
labor, first of all.
It's a lot of work. And she didn't hide anything well. She only got the thighs to the van. It's just none of it really makes sense. I wish I could have a conversation with her. Like I wish I could get like direct answers from people like that. I wish I could safely inquire. What were you thinking? Why did you? Because I don't think we really get the truth from a lot of this stuff. I don't think we really get the
Yeah,
truth from a lot of these people. Like the God's honest truth. Like they'll still tell us a version of a truth, but I still
hmm
don't think.
and I think that
I
she
don't,
really, when she realized she was in too deep, she was like, "All right, crazy's the only play I'm gonna have to take. Like I'm gonna
that's
have
it.
to,
I gotta
you
go
know,
all in. I gotta go all in.
all or nothing." I
It's-
mean, he over here in the tote, he in the tote, he in the Jimmy Choo bag. He's here, he's there, like he's
swing for the
everywhere.
fences. Swing for the fences. Let me put
Yeah,
his foot in his chest. Let me head in the bucket over here with his penis. Let me put his
and
thighs
his
in a
head.
crock pot. Yeah,
Was she
let me
going
put
to
the crock
roast him?
pot
Like,
box. It's Ty. And her interaction
it,
with her dad, yeah, that was weird too. Stuff with her
did,
dad.
yeah, when her dad walked by, like she's like shouting him out, and he's got on the orange suit. Like, come,
Yeah, so what happened? How did I meant to ask you about that too? Like, did he do time? Was he in jail while she was going through all of this?
well, I don't believe he was because he saw her that night.
Mm.
Um, he's like, yeah, I knew they were kind of high, whatever. Like they smoke weed, whatever. And she was married. He sent her away shortly after her mother passed to live with her grandparents
Yes, I
because she
saw
was out
that
of
part.
control. And
Well, there's the sign.
and she has a son.
Yeah, so she was out of control. So there were flags, but maybe the boyfriend friend he didn't. Maybe he didn't know her history.
Yeah,
But now
he
she's
didn't know
got.
the extent. Well, she kind of fell back into his arms when things fell out with her husband.
Mm,
So, he was kind of like the shoulder, being the best friend, whatever, get over him, you got to get under him, that's what they say. Um, so,
how do you go
yeah.
from married with a kid to dismembering this guy that you're getting high with in a kink party? Like,
And you saw the way that her father was giving that fire, like that smoke towards her husband, her
I
ex-husband.
missed some of it. I saw some. I don't remember the ex-husband part,
Yeah,
but
he was saying that he's the cause of her being on that stuff.
on the drugs. Okay,
Yeah.
I remember him blaming the drugs. I
Yeah, and
remember him
like
blaming the drugs.
she had gone into rehab, and then I believe he was locked up at some point. But when he got back out and they got back together, she was
Man,
right back on it. That's what
and I
her
could,
dad said.
yeah. It sounded like she had a rough, like the mom dying young. The father gave her away, like to the grandparents. Then I guess even recently there was a brother that died in a motorcycle accident or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. That was crazy. Yeah,
Yeah, so I mean, it
I
seemed like
forgot
she
about
just
that.
dealt
Yeah,
with a lot. Man, it
she
seemed
had
like
a
she
lot of
just dealt with a
losses,
lot.
and it
And then
seems like she never really
drugs.
processed them.
Yeah,
That was kind of like the numbing part, I guess,
yes,
to
man.
turn to taking something to try and numb that pain, which is never the way to go.
Nah, but man, whew, I
Yeah,
don't
Haley,
know,
that was
Ty.
crazy.
I don't know. I'm gonna give it like 4 cases. I'm gonna try to dive into like 4 cases, see if I can stomach it, or if I like have a turn. Like if I have a heel turn in my life, I'm gonna be like, okay, it's this true crime stuff. It's gotta be. And I'm gonna
Yeah,
know all of y'all are crazy. Or I'm consuming it wrong. One or the other.
all of who are crazy.
All of y'all are true crime enthusiasts. All of
It's
y'all.
good to know what's out there in the world. I mean, this isn't something that's. Would you rather just be blindsided if somebody said, "Hey, Arshawn, let's have a choke party"?
I think I'd rather be blindsided. I mean, because think about it. Otherwise, I'm going to, like right now, I'm always going to think anybody that's talking about that particular kind of kink, they're going to choke me out and dismember me. That's always going to be in my head now. There's no way around it. So it's like I'd rather just get caught off guard like old boy did. If it's my
It's like,
time.
okay, friend, let's see what happens.
Good night, Haley.
Night night, Haley. Thank you
Yes.
so much for coming through. I'll be scaring y'all with more cases. But yeah. So
Yeah, I can't wait till you get to the Durst one. I want to check out the Durst one. I might look it up on my own because man, that seems kind of interesting.
what I'll do is on the community wall, I'll post the links of certain testimony. Now, some of the testimony was like a total circus because one lady was like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, I was doing coke." This one, Nancy was doing it too, and it was like, "Oh, stop, stop, that's stop." Yeah, Deborah was
Oh
doing
man.
it, but I mean, it was kind of funny. Jury's like it was a total circus, that case. But yeah,
That's
Joe
what's up.
Durst. What I'll do, I'll write myself a little reminder. I'll put that on the community wall of certain testimony that really stuck out, especially his. And what I also like to do is listen to the opening statements of the state and the defense. The defense doesn't always
Ooh.
have to do an opening statement. What they'll sometimes do is hold off on it until the case is turned, until the state rests.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot with that one, but I'll post the ones that I like to listen to, the opening statements, to see if it's worth me watching.
Okay, so that's kind of like a synopsis in a way. Like
Right,
you get
because
you
they'll
get the way they're trying to with the framework. You get the framework of what they're saying, what their
exactly,
claims are. That makes sense.
yeah. So because some
Okay.
of the stuff in between was like I didn't need to hear some of those testimonies, but it
All right.
really did set the opening statements really sets the entire plot, everything, scene, everything. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. I'll also update my description box. I think it's probably kind of jumbled right now, but critically drinking. I want to thank you so much for coming up, Arshawn. I appreciate it. And
Appreciate it. Before we get out of here, mind if I
hopefully
ask
I
you a couple
didn't scare you
questions?
away, huh?
No, no, you didn't scare me away. But I was like, you mind if I ask you a couple of questions, like around your true crime
Yeah,
question?
sure.
So I know you said how you decide on if you're going interested in the case is by the opening statements. That's your barometer. Like, that might be a good one. But how do you decide which cases to even check out? Like, is there a certain type of crime? Is there certain elements that you look for, like family dynamics, relationships, generational? Like, what draws you in?
What pulls me in is if it's a case that could go either way, possibly. So I want to follow it to look at the evidence and see what's the jury going to say. So like for example, the Marine, who he was like a top ranking, and what he had done was taken a device home that he should not have taken off the base, and the witnesses gone. 3. I'm talking about in a burning car to field, and the at the bottom of the steps in the basement balled up. And see, the thing is that he knew how to do these things. Like he was like special ops. Like he knew how to do this. So much so to where he was so pompous until he took the stand. And that's what effed him up. That was the fuck, because he had on this nice suit. When he got down off the stand, his shoes were squeaking like SpongeBob, like they were brand spanking new. And he sits down and starts laughing.
Oh man.
Yeah, so but yeah, if it's something that's really interesting, I like the Murdaugh.
Okay.
I followed that one. Um, I followed Rittenhouse. That wasn't a shocker. The verdict.
Yeah.
Um, the guy who took his wife and disabled daughter out, and then he denied wanting representation, so he was his own
Ooh.
attorney.
He repped himself.
Yes,
No. Ooh.
and
It had to be bad.
his closing argument.
Oh God.
He was yelling at the jury. And you know what the judge said? He said he said he didn't do it. And he was
Right.
like some of his argument was pretty good. But okay, first of all, your closing argument, you're representing. Do not scream at the jury. Like he was yelling and cursing at the judge. Had to be
Yeah.
like, okay, stop using profane. You gotta scale it back.
Bring that in.
Yeah. So like, I mean, he has some good points, and even when the judge um sentenced him, of course he's in there like he's done. She was like, "You're very brilliant, and you would have been a great attorney." And he just laughed. He just like smirked and like, "Thank you." He had what took me out with that trial is that he had to question his son.
Ooh. Was that the black guy with the braids? With the face tats? I saw
Yes.
some of that. Oh my God.
Oh, that was painful to watch.
Yeah. I saw somebody clip something up a long time ago, and I was like, they said he had the nerve to actually examine it. I was like, nah, not a chance.
That was the most disturbing
Oh,
cross examination I'd ever seen. Like he's leaning in. Did you see me? And the little boy, of course, he's going to say no. And one of the detectives adopted him.
wow.
And so that detective actually took the stand as well. And at the end of the detective's testimony, he said, "Thank you for taking care of my son."
Wow.
He said the mother was a white witch. He said she was a
That's
witch.
crazy.
Yeah, the 911 caller heard in the closet calling 911 the mother of his children. That was, but yeah, it's whatever it could just be one thing that I find is interesting. I'm like, all right, let me see what it's about. And
Okay.
usually I end up staying on following it to the end.
All right. What's
So yeah.
last one?
Hmm.
What's the one that like I don't know how long you've been in the true crime. You can answer that too, but out of all the time you've been in the true crime, what's the one that sticks out in your mind is like the one that got you most invested?
Um. Oh man, it's so. I okay. So let me just start by saying that I've been following cases for like around 20 years.
Okay.
So if I'm intrigued, then I'm definitely gonna follow it. So like there, let me see. I'm gonna
Was
say
there ever
one
one?
one is Breasia
Yeah,
Terrell.
I have to look into that.
That case where her stepdad, took her out in the middle of the night.
Oh, oh yeah, you were telling. Yeah.
Yeah, cases like that, it kind of like tugs at my heart. Like kids, like I said,
Yeah.
you
Gotcha.
know. So for him to just play dumb and try to prolong everything of her being found, and then say she's never going to be found when he was in prison or in jail or whatever, and two inmates testified and took the stand, and they did not get any type of immunity or didn't have any time taken away that they um, had to serve. So I would say that's more believable than listening to him in the confession saying whatever he said that he don't know what happened. Um, but cases like that, yeah, that has like damning evidence. I want to see. Oh, and I gotta follow. I missed the clown one. It's not funny, but the clown case where the woman dressed up as a clown walked to the wife's house of the man that she wanted, popped her, killed her, walked back to her car, married the man. He didn't know that she's the one that did that until years
Wow.
later. Until okay, so now he did.
It's like a soap opera in a way, but it's unfortunately real. But this feels like the stuff I watch on like in a movie. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's the type of drama that's from movies, but people are really doing this stuff. It's like this is crazy.
Yeah, Darnell Brooks, that was another one who represented himself that ran into the parade with the van, took out a
Wow.
couple of old people, the kids, and everything. There's a lady, I think all three or four of her kids were hit.
Mm.
Um, they have like permanent damage, like with therapy, physical therapy, PTSD, all of that. They were young, um, and just seeing how he was being rude to the judge. She had to keep making him, like, sending him out of the courtroom and putting him in a separate courtroom on camera. He's stacking the boxes of evidence up in front of him. Like,
Yeah.
and his closing argument was disgusting. It was all about him. But yeah, I don't know. It's different things that kind of like pulls me in.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right. Now, last question. You've got to kill me, Ty, and you got to get away with it. What method do you choose? Tell me how do you murder me?
I can't tell you that.
Come on, Ty. Come on, Ty. You can tell. Come on, you can tell me. How do you murder me?
And get away with it. Well, I'm trying to tread lightly with this. I don't want anybody to think I'm crazy. See, no, you're trying to have people like, no, don't talk. She will.
I'm not.
Ty will kill, cook, and eat, y'all. Don't do it.
No,
She said the bell pepper and onions on anything, and it'll make it sound, make a good pot roast. No. I mean, scientifically, I know that. Never mind. I'm not gonna go there either.
See,
but I mean, it's a couple of different ways.
Okay.
It'd be painless. Potassium.
Okay.
Now you might want to follow this as a current trial. The sex therapist.
Oh.
Her boyfriend they broke up 8 years prior, ran into her at one of the adult film shows, like one of their award shows. He's a photographer, and he ran into her 8 years after they broke up, and he's like, "Look at what you've done to me!" Like, he starts going crazy.
Wow.
Anyway, he wiped her out. But that's a current one. But yeah, like, I mean, there's certain chemicals that can be used.
Being so vague.
Let me see. How can I read? Okay, SOA on Trig's daughter.
Oh man. Dang. I got a burn. God dang. Die.
No, I'm just saying, like, that's how it's done.
Okay. All right.
But you have to do it off the ground.
Gotcha.
Not like, yeah.
All right. Well, at least I know how I'm going to die. I'm just curious. I was just
Come
curious.
on, now, stop it.
No, I appreciate your time.
You're
I'll
harmless.
let you close up. But thank you so much for having me, and I will see you soon.
No, you're leaving. I wanted you to have final remarks, and
okay.
Be sure to share your page, and I'll put your channel also in the description box.
Okay. Well, listen, my final remarks are don't kill people. Don't hit people with bricks. If you feel like you need to cheat on a person, just go ahead and leave them. Even if you're going to take a setback for it. Just try not to be an asshole. Like, try to be a decent human being. However hard that may be, just try. Everybody may not be doing it. Everybody might be doing the wrong thing. Try to be a decent human being. Please, because this world is crazy. I don't want to fall into true crime. Let's bring down the amount of true crime available by not committing it. Like, let's try that. But my channel is Critically Drinking. We talk about lots of different little weird things. Let me see. Race, relationships, religion. Those are the main three. The 3 R's. But I am the main R, Rashawn. Maybe I'll come through. Maybe I won't. But either way, I'll see y'all soon.
That's what's up. Thank you so much for shouting out your channel. And thank you so much for making time for me, even though I was a little bit dense in the beginning with where we were going to stream. But thank you so much for showing up. And we got to do this again. And again,
Absolutely.
don't be afraid. I don't bite.
Yeah, I'm be here. You drop the link, I'll come up.
That's what's up. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure that you hit the thumbs up, like, and subscribe and share. And we'll be back soon. Bye.
Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here.